I do want to read some databanks because I want to learn. Hold on, pause. Let me see. I just want to read one thing. I don't want to. Oh wait, my contract. Ooh, my contract. I love. There's so much knowledge here, and I'm so excited. Okay, the pawn. Okay. I, the pawn, agree that I accept Altera Alms as my sponsor for resettlement out to the former Mongolian independent states. That I will be transported as digital information aboard the colony ship Cicada to the planet Zazura, the New World, and fabricated on arrival. That I will construct, improve, and operate a colony on the New World without wage or salary working off my debt. That I refuse holiday, retirement, or permanent death until Noah determines that a permanent, self-sustaining human future on the New World is achieved. That I release Altera Corporation from any liability for permanent death or military conscription by the Trans-System Federation if caused by the ongoing conflict with the Karazino system. Oh my god, the coronavirus got out. There's stuff going on with that. Oh, that's wild. So then we're just gonna pop back in then, and I'm just gonna start at the top of what we have so far because I'm really excited about this stuff. So okay, here we're starting here. Oh, well, it says to start here too. Okay, you know what? Survival guide. Until contract with the colony or the cicada, which, okay, fun thing, Rennie, you would not know this because I'm not sure if the area that you have, where you live. Oh yeah, sorry. Whenever you told me to read that one or listen to that one audiobook, it didn't go, and the links don't show up because I had to get rid of the links because of the ye old bots. However, send it to me in a message, and I will read it that way. But cicadas. Anyway, back to this. This is a really cool name is to call them cicadas because if you don't know Rennie and Coop, I mean, you got cicadas down in Texas. Cicadas are a species of insects that will live underground for X number of years before finally popping up to the surface, turning from a larval state to a pupa and then flying. I love them. Don't hate on the cicadas, Coop. They're loud as hell. However, they're awesome and we love them. And there's a species of cicada that will go underground and emerge in a 14-year life cycle. So it's really cool that the transportation in this game goes for 14 years, and that's why they called it the cicada. And also, I don't know what you guys like. Do you guys got lightning bugs over there? I don't know what y'all's insects are. I just know the ones in the places I've lived. Yeah, I'll give you that. They definitely have ruined sleep a lot. But, like, you eventually get so used to them. It's fine. So, anyway, okay, I'm gonna read. And I got your link, Rennie. I will listen to that. It's a boom. Okay. Until contact with the colony or the cicada is restored, your survival is in your hands. Sync with the nearest Biobed. Review fabricator blueprints. Print basic equipment such as the survival multitool and tech flares. Search the area for basic resources, copper, quartz, and titanium. Find a source of fresh water and digestible food. Find a source of acid for... Okay, I just want to make sure my water and food weren't going down. Find a source of acid for basic batteries. Then fabricate a scanner. Scan everything you see. Like, listen to the ambience of this. I love it. Fabricate some mobility equipment such as fins and an oxygen tank. Fabricate a habitat builder tool. Work to expand the colony. Be alert for updates from your noetic advisor. As a pioneer, your goal is to build a future for humanity on this world. 40,000 sleeping colonists are counting on you. When in doubt, fall back to your training. To find new resources, explore unknown regions or construct a base scanner station. Interesting. Survive hostile wildlife. Use flares to distract the threat. Carry a medkit for wound treatment. Unlock new blueprints. Scan fragments or data cards left by other pioneers. Determine your next goal. Review your PDA's data log and data bank and log. And consult your noetic advisor. Altera anticipates the need to adapt human colonists to alien worlds. Consider installing approved biomods to help you thrive. Fascinating. So that one's done. Oh, hello. Pressure tolerance. Ooh, okay. So whenever we're in the tabs, if there's something that I'd scrolled through quickly, it already went to it. And I love that you had lightning bugs over by your mom's house. That's really freaking cool. Okay. At 100 meters below the surface, the pressure on your body is over 10 times that of what it is on land, like an elephant standing on every square inch of you. Humans must breathe air under equal pressure or the lungs can't inflate, but this carries several risks. Below 40 meters, the nitrogen in the air becomes necrotic, causing impaired judgment, delirium, and anesthesia. As pressure increases, oxygen becomes toxic, causing tunnel vision, tinnitus, vertigo, and convulsions. Each additional 10 meters of depth increase the pressure by 1 atmosphere. Breathing normal air at 600 meters and 60 atm of pressure is fatal. The extreme pressure forces gas molecules into the blood tissue, saturating them like a soda and disrupting their necessary function. Deep-sea organisms produce a molecule known as TMAO, trimethylamine, there it is, trimethylamine in oxide. TMAO is a stiffener for water molecules, helping them hold their shape against pressure. Adapting your body to produce the stiffener will reduce the rate of gas saturation, allowing your Pioneer nanomachines to clean up the fatal fizz as fast as it develops. This adaptation may result in long-term liver damage, but the consequences far beyond your current survival horizon. This adaptation will also prevent TMAOs, neura, a condition in which a seafood diet can lead to a powerful fishy body odor. That's cool. So we smell like fish. Love it. Dude, I love this. It's fascinating. And I don't care if you're going to crap on America about it. Like, I love it. Alright. So, come here. Come back. So, active colonists, we're looking for chap, which that's not going to help us any. Digestion. Life in this unknown ocean shares its basic genetic code with Earth. DNA letters code from amino acid words, which are joined into strings-like sentences to produce proteins. Pioneers can also look forward to familiar delights such as sugar, starch, fat, and alcohol. However, this world's genetic code uses different words for amino acids, creating waxy and metallic proteins. Humans stuck inside can't digest them. Undigested mass builds up in the intestines, causing indigestion, internal blockage, starvation, and gout. We do have a black Dorito that could flatten a country. That is also true. This field adaptation grows your digestive tract to secrete alien enzymes built with human chemistry. Borrowing these enzymes bypasses the need to design a synthetic equivalent, allowing you to proceed with the mission. The chances of your digestive tract digesting itself are minimal, but not zero. So, we may end up eating our own organs. That's a problem. Wait, hold on. First of all, Rennie, you haven't had Takis. Those are the best things, and the hot Cheeto girls would absolutely devour anything spicy in your country. Can guarantee. Alright, hatches. The Super Baroque Select Passage portal allows for simultaneous two-way multiple crew traffic between a pressurized interior and dangerous exterior. This eliminates the need for lengthy mechanical cycles, which can interrupt traffic and reduce the joy of free motion. Heavy-duty nanomembrane molecular machines clasp hands across the entire surface of the hatch. Sapphire laser systems provide energy and programming. Membrane accepts new crew and cargo while rejecting pressure and intruders. Filters lose biomatter. Great for Kara monitoring. Okay, so Kara's a problem still here, too. Ugh. The membrane is only slightly weaker than solid titanium. In the event of power loss, the nanomachines can sustain their grip for days. A mechanical iris is optionally provided to seal the event in the event of long-term power failure. Instances of limb amputation or removal due to the membrane error have been entirely eliminated from the design. I love this. Oh, you right. I forgot you're a Spaniard. I'm sorry, Peruvian. I apologize. Rennie, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. That was on me. I apologize. I've learned my place. I'm so sorry. Viva la Mexico. My bad. All right, corridor. Titanium corridor. End users must supply a hatch and external power supply. If power generates a breathable atmosphere from seawater, provides a basic field work site for the first step towards a larger habitat. Shelters made entirely out of corridors have saved lives in disasters from deep sea to deep space. Supports small works facilities like the fabricator, too small for larger facilities like a biobed or processor. Excellent storage and rest location. End user must supply hatch and power supply, such as a solar panel. Can be extended in 4 directions. Every time I glance up at the chat after I get done reading, I'm like, oh my god. I'm just listening. I'm hearing like eagles screech on both ends of this. Alright, Biolab. Operating instructions. The Biolab is used to inject and remove biomods, temporary genetic tricks borrowed from native life. The entry-level colonist can tolerate 2 biomods, one active, one passive. Interface with the Biolab and choose 1 biomod for each slot. Active biomods must be triggered by the user, while passive biomods activate by reflex when the conditions are met. Oh wait, hold on. Wait. I gotta watch. I gotta watch this. I mean, if Rennie's challenging for this, I feel like I must watch. I'm kidding. I'm going back to reading. Oh god. I don't doubt it. Okay, you forget. Being from Louisiana and like also living in San Antonio, Texas, fully aware of cockfights and how they work. However, the child in me is like, I'm absolutely going to, wordplay and make a joke. I can't help it. Again, I'm a toddler. Alright. Active biomods must be triggered by the user, while passive biomods activate by reflex when their conditions are met. Biomods should be pre-tested and approved by colony medical staff. While a scanner can be modified to acquire new biomods from local species, the colonists would be liable for them, resulting from any harm to self or others. I'm just saying, you two, some of my favorites. Love you both. Alright, background. After the tragedies on 4546B and Rakshasa? And the outbreak of Kara on the Andrina arm, Altera recognized that the human body was now the most vulnerable component to its deep space strategy. Nobel Prize-winning research by Valentine Thram produced the answer, a nanotech interface between human and alien biology. This interface, deployed in pioneers programs like the Aep Suit, can reverse engineer alien genes products from safe expression by human cells. Unlike full adaptations, these biomods never enter the colonist genome. They are temporary and reversible. This helps would-be parents from awkward conversation about which biomods to inject for date night. The Biolab is a colonist one-stop shop for service for biomods. Deep readers will note that this is also a triumph of human ingenuity over the pessimism of early anti-expansion thinkers who believed that humanity's tight link to Earth biota would make interstellar colonization impossible. Okay, Biolab's done. Biobed. The Shanty Essentials Biobed is a ruggedized scanner fabricator for human bodies. Despite the power of modern scanners and computers, it's impossible to image and record every molecule in the human body as digital data. The Biobed uses quantum imaging to store a ghost of the patient in the optical lattice. This ghost can be printed back into matter by precise fabrication. When paired with a black box implant, which transmits to the last brain state before death back to the paired Biobed on the phase channel, a Biobed can detect a colonist's death and reprint them with no loss of memory or subjective experience. Okay, so this is telling us that we don't have to lose our memory when we go, which is cool. Great, that was one of my concerns. However, now I'm extra concerned from the fact that Noah apparently said, nah, I'm not going to let this person reprint. Like, that's a red flag. Does not require water or power or raw materials automatically collected from seawater. When synced with a biobed, colonists will be fabricated to a new body, a print, if killed. Black box implants allow transfer of final memories, but not all possessions. Biobed quartz memory is stable into geological time. Used to store cicada colonists during long interstellar flights. Because the ghost is not digital data, it cannot be edited or duplicated. Well, that's a lie. However, a biobed can record many ghosts during a single session and store them in quantum superposition. In theory, a single biobed could produce duplicates of many people, populating the entire colony with colonial strains from a few initial colonists. This process is illegal under Transfederation law and blocked in the software level of all legal biobeds. Okay, so it can't make clones of everybody. That's an issue. Alright, basic base building. We already read that from the guy because he read out loud to us. Solar panels. Silicone photovoltaic. I don't know how to say a word, I'm not gonna bother. Cells transform sunlight into energy, although less efficient than modern quantum dot cells. These entry-level panels can be fabricated with basic materials like quartz. Basic power supply for surface habitats, automatic sun tracking, nice. Reduced efficiency at night depending on non-sunlight sources. So, does it just take any light? Huh. Reduced efficiency at depth, falling off to 0. Larger panel arrays combine more cells into a single rack. Solar panels are philosophically attractive because they allow the colonists to function at an autotoph, creating their own energy directly from the sun instead of relying on other living or non-living processes. Do not attempt to power your habitat with a spotlight aimed at a solar panel. The universe forbids it. Okay. Whenever we finally get to the point of building our base bigger and better, 100% I'm getting a spotlight, and I am definitely pointing it at a solar panel. I want to see if it's going to yell at me. Alright, now, bloom. So this is going to be the flora. Angel comb. Animal. This animal, not saying that name, has no earthly analog and no clear ecological niche. The ancestral form may be a centiphore, jellycomb. Of all animals on Earth, comb jellies are the least related to humans. Active central bulb. The central bulb is similar to an enormous cell nucleus. It contains gene sequencing from organisms in the surrounding environment. Viral loop. The combs release a large RNA virus into the seawater. This virus infects all the organisms in the ecosystem. Infected organisms produce new copies of the virus, which return to the angel comb carrying stolen genes from the infected host. The angel comb produces genetic piracy on a massive scale. That's a fascinating concept. I like that. External food sources. The angel comb draws food from the Titan rockbore below. Angel combs may be obligate parasites off of Titan. Excuse me, my nose is running. Angel combs may be obligate parasites of Titan rockbores. Assessment. Touch central bulbs for genetic adaptation. Further investigation urgently required. Note, users may be curious about the symbiosis between earthly parasitic wasp and polydNA viruses. The wasp's own genome contains the viral genome, allowing the wasp to create the virus for use in its reproductive cycle. That's fascinating. Alright, closed cases. We've only got Anita, which... she drowned near an angel comb. She believed the comb could help her digest the world's food. We gained the effective adaptation from the angel comb, and she implied that colonists fear hallucination caused by the virus and that she could feed the comb with her body. She may have been delirious. So, like, maybe the comb is kind of like a Venus flytrap as well, which is an interesting concept. Colony manifest. Oh, this is everybody we gotta find. How many you got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 people on this list when we know that we had 4,000, or is it 4,000 or 40,000 colonists on board that were saved as digital data. Either way, I'm guessing these 26 are going to be people that are going to either have stories or we're going to have to find. Anita, gender female, mission role, colony pursuer, or colony purser, sorry. Pay rate, Bagter, hero knight, expired Mongolian Free States trademark for specialized valuable worker, retired Protestant ethic work coach, experienced professional crisis for counseling Mongolian refugees on career retraining, volunteered for Cicada colony mission to seek personal renewal. Notes, departure from Protestant ethnic philosophy may create unmet needs for belonging. Okay. Alright, education. Alright. Quartz. Quartz, the silicate crystal named by the Polish quartz and feldspar make up most of Earth's continental crust. Used in the creation of fabricator-aligned glass and ultra-long-term computer memory storage lasting billions of years. Typically found as phenocryst? Yeah. Phenocryst formed from cooling lava, but some local deposits have a telltale bioplastic matrix. Hypothesis, a local coral gathers dissolved silica to grow quartz deposits. Okay. So the coral's more alive than even our coral is, and it can grow things off of it specifically. Fascinating. Titanium, a light, strong, non-conductive, non-reactive metal, perfect for underwater construction, won't corrode. Okay, so that's my issue. So then what's this made out of? Because this is clearly corrosion, right? Like, unless somebody, like, literally shit on the walls and just smeared it everywhere. So I'm guessing this isn't made out of titanium then? Like, what's the point in that? That seems counterintuitive. Like, you know where you're going. Why would you not just automatically make it so that it won't corrode? Anyway. Binds with oxygen to form minerals like rhyolite and antistace, which are likely embedded in the bedrock of the sea floor. Osseo-integral material can be fused directly to and safely to bone. Organisms on the bombardment world, Rotsac, and more recently encountered variants of the Kara Onos cyanohydroid both incorporate titanium into their biology. So there's a creature that's... Is this the same Kara that was the virus that infected everything? And now there's like some sort of alien creature that is smacking titanium onto their body that's infected with Kara going around trying to take over the world? If so, that's concerning on many levels. So, okay. Yeah. Crustacean. These are my guys. Let me see. Alright, the Periscopic Clowncrab. I wish I would show the pictures of them by them, so I didn't have to remember, but luckily these guys I remember very clearly. The hard-legged periscope, a social crab that shelters amongst stinging anemones. A reduced body. The crown crab's single-segment body is an illusion. The multiple segments of other protean arthropods are still present, nestled inside. When the clown crab molts, it sheds its internal shells through its digestive tract. Regenerative eye stalk. Enormous eye stalks mimic the surrounding anemones. If bitten off by a predator, each stalk is packed with ultra-specialized cells that quickly regenerate missing eyes. If the stalk grows too long, the crown crab will trim them to avoid drawing attention. Ugh! Dude, it would. Because I would absolutely fall into the trap of like, oh my god, they're so cute, these are my little friends. And I'd go down and get stung to hell by these crabs. Let's see, anemone tender. The clown crab provides a valuable service to Cecile, and the anemones by ranging out for forage, returning nutrients in its molt and waste. It also grooms the anemones to clean parasites and infections. Puncton stall, the third stalk between the eyes, is a reproductive... Oh god, it's got its dick in its eyes. The same unspecialized cells used to heal the eye stalk become eggs or sperm. Sperm is released into the seawater while eggs are deposited amongst the anemones. Assessment, a sign of a healthy anemone field. It's a caught script hook to allocate memory for command generate databank Clowncrab echo memory. So I'm guessing we're making it so that the PDA can create it. Remark a centipede. I think the PDA got this thing's anatomy and reproduction completely wrong. I swear I've seen centipedes, a bunch of clown crabs linked up in a train. I think they grow as a single segment organism, and then each segment splits off into its own crab, and then maybe they hook up again later. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing that I've seen. That's kind of cool. Also terrifying, but cool. Alright, fish. We got the Halfmoon guy. Oh, wait, was I just not... Oh, they don't have a picture of the crab. They have a picture of everything else? That doesn't make sense. How silly. But look at him. He's so cute. Halfmoon. Tentatively, Mulliform Luna. Large foraging fish, which strains plankton from seawater and nibbles at small growth. They're a prey fish. Staple foodstuff for predators. Has evolved several flea and hide behaviors. Edible, but a fabricator cook is recommended. Separate plumbing. A riveted beak protects 2 valves which draw in seawater for feeding. Spiracles behind the eye feed water for internal gills for breathing. Built for agility. Body packed with neuromasts to detect water flow. Interior fins have holes to help them quickly reverse direction. May have evolved to maneuver in tight quarters or in dense schools of other halfmoons. Particular nervous system. Lacks reference cancellation. Can't distinguish stimuli caused by its own motions from change in the surrounding world. Easily fascinated by bright light. May even experience itself as causing the light. Sometimes behaves as if disoriented, swimming sideways without apparent benefit. Assessment: tolerable food. Okay. Oh, right, because this is still early access. Makes sense. Hammerhead. Look at them guys. Like, oh, they're so ugly. They're so gross. Alright, Hammerhead. Tentatively, Panopelia Hammerhead. An armored herd dwelling. They're herd dwelling? There was only one of them. Oh god, if they're going to be moving in herds, that's a major malfunction. An armored herd dwelling, territorial herbivore with a powerful ram. It's an herbivore. Huh. Alright, Hammerhead. Challenges intruders on its territory, especially other hammerheads. But it's a herd dwelling. Maybe it's like goats and they just kind of like, butt heads. Displays its pectoral fins and closes its enamel head shield before attacking. Jet propulsion. Spiracles behind the eye feed into a jet channel with internal gills. This jet drives the hammerhead's sudden rams. Large brain. Floats in a protective cyst. The central eye sees color, while 2 smaller motion-sensitive eyes guide ramming. Grazing jaw. The muscular vertical jaw suggests a diet of sponges, kelps, tourniquets, and possibly crushed coral. So it's like a parrotfish almost with what it likes to eat. The need to protect a grazing area may have evolved the hammerhead's territoriality. Practice behavior. Hammerheads ram coral domes. The adaptive benefit is unclear, perhaps toughening their shields. Advise caution, especially when piloting vehicles. May have social cognitive comparable to Earth's ungulates, some of which were extremely dangerous to humans. Ramming areas, called lakes, are major sources of ocean noise. Huh. Let's see, Harvest Moon. Don't have anybody for him. Water Slug. Look at them, they're so cute. And look at his little ugly ass eyes. He's precious. I love him. Alright, Water Slug. Tentatively, Sea Slug hydroclast. A biological enigma which converts seawater into drinkable freshwater. Microbial fuel cell. Removing salt from seawater is energy intensive. Nonetheless, this water slug does it. Perhaps as a byproduct of an internal microbial reaction that feeds on waste in seawater. Freshwater resolve. A hydrophobic plastic bulb that protects the slug from rapid dehydration by salt water. Plankton farm. The slug's water bulb hosts a highly productive plankton species, turning light into food. Freshwater may be necessary for the plankton's chemistry, or it may be a prison, a way to keep the plankton from leaving. Ooh. Vampiric aura. The water slug's developed beak has a sharp cutting surface. Perhaps evolutionary history has a parasite or commensal tapping a host blood and filtering out toxins. Okay, that's terrifying. Alright, so vampire bat slug. Got it. Assessment. Only nearby a source of drinkable water. Advise cooking before drinking. Cause of kidney problems. Consider allowing the water slug to feed on your blood. Oh, okay. So leech. We're leeching ourselves with water slugs. Cool. All right. Salpopods? Salpopods. He's so ugly. I love him. His colors are so pretty, though. I love them. All right, Geordie. A jet-propelled omnivore evolved from an organism resembling a bony octopus. Grasping jaw. The Geordie's hard mouth parts can brush algae off rocks, crush small crustaceans, pull plugs out of coral, and cut wads off of kelp. 4 fins. Perhaps evolving from bony legs, they steer the Geordie and host its 4 stomach pouches. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's got its stomach stored in its fins. Huh. Each fin leg hosts a digestive pouch with bacteria specialized to portions of the Geordie's diverse diet. Swimming motion helps stir and digest food. The central channel is lined with stinging cells which kill small seaborne fauna. Don't insert fingers. Okay. I'm sure that's what we're worried about given the shape now knowing that information. Muscular pulses propel the Geordie by a jet axon. Donut-shaped spinal brain. The Geordie's nerve braid is wrapped around the jet channel like a donut. Tutorial brain structures may have interesting downstream consequences in larger organisms. Do you think that the water farts that we have to go through that, you know, prevent us from going anywhere, do you think that maybe, like, that's coming from a giant Geordie that's just kind of stuck there and sitting there? Because that also would kind of explain some of the, like, organisms inside of the tunnels. Be interesting. Assessment, edible, though heavily loaded with metals and waxes. Advise thoroughly cooking in the fabricator. Let's see, Titan Rockbore. Look at that. Looks like a clam. I wish I could spin it. This enormous colony organism resembles a spinal cord protected by a thick crab-like shell. It extends beyond scanner range in both directions, growing through fractures in the seabed floor. Hollow interior. The interior of the bore contains at least 2 large flooded channels, one strikingly radioactive. Okay. The ancestral form may be a pyrosome. Sea squirt. Poor health. Most of the zooids in the bore are dead, leaving only a mineral skeleton and a hydrocarbon polymer shell. The interior channels have clogged. Unknown metabolism. The bore has no apparent food supply. It may have derived chemical energy from minerals, but if so, the bacterial symbiotes have fled. It's starving. Viral activity. Surviving tissue is infected with large RNA virus similar to earthly giant sea viruses. The bore anatomy includes receptor sites that encourage viral infection and reproduction. Further analysis required. Entirely unknown organism. Investigate further. Determine. Huh. Okay. So whatever that is, it's sick. Alright, we got some coral. Databank. Go back. Alright, dragon scale coral. Does look like a dragon scale. Makes sense. A hard coral that grows on hydrothermic vents using the temperature gradient between its hot base and its cold water lip to drive metabolic reactions. Hard coral. Dragon scale polyps must grow their hard coral shells in water rich with dissolved minerals. A good resource if it doesn't dissolve you too. Limestone cannot survive in this vent water. Instead, the dragon scale polyps extend long fibers which collect metal ions. These metal whiskers are both an anchor to further mineral growth and the key to the coral's metabolism. The whisker-based metabolism, the difference in temperature between the cold and hot ends of the dragon scale, introduce electrical currents amongst the whiskers, which the dragon scale polyps use to drive its metabolism. Trollite superconductor. Deposits of trollite, an iron sulfate mineral, within the dragon scale enter an unusual quantum spin state when heated above 150 Celsius. Assessment, possible applications for research. The coral dome. Alright, the defining feature of the shallows biome. Coral analog. Like earthly coral, the biome is a colony of polyps, small jelly-like or sorry, small jellyfish-like animals that secrete a limestone skeleton. This process uses dissolved carbon dioxide from the seawater. Corals are therefore an important method of climate regulation, since they transform atmospheric carbon into hard limestone. Dual feeding strategy. The dome's outer surface feeds on sunlight using photosynthetic symbiotes known as zooxanthellae. Zooxanthellae. As the dome grows, the colony clears its interior, recycling the limestones for use. Polyps on the inside of the dome hunt with stinging tentacles. Mineral expulsions. As the dome grows, it collects and expels mineral waste, creating nodes of quartz. Critical ecosystem element. The dome corals help regulate global climate and provide a breakwater, reducing erosion in their shallow settings. The dome capture nutritious sediments from sea currents, and pioneers should prioritize a survey of coral health. Source of quartz and vital to the ecosystem. Branching coral. Okay, it was interrupted. Found a hook allocated to the menu. Okay, so this is kind of cool. The fact that it has in the data bank, not necessarily just information entries like in, the first Subnautica, saying like, oh, this is analysis of this, and this is what it does. It's also got like other things attached to it. So like you wouldn't catch these parts of the story if you weren't going through and reading it, which is a really cool thing from the developers to do, I think. Alright, so Name, voice log, go. If you're listening to this and you don't have lead poisoning, I'm very jealous. If you're listening to this and you do have lead poisoning, I'm sorry I couldn't figure it out in time. Mea culpa. This is a typical protean coral. It works differently from earth coral. The gross morphology. There it is. Words are so hard. The gross morphology of a branching tree, like some species of Earth's extinct aquifora. We call it coral because we know the word, but the difference matters. Yes, me culpa. My bad. It's my favorite. It's that Latin. Mea culpa. Again, I've never said it. I've always read it. So, mea culpa. My bad. On Earth, coral are basically tiny jellyfish living in stone homes. The jellyfish sting prey. They also let zooxanthellae live with them, house guests who make food for the sun. On Proteus, I think that we're seeing here isn't actually a sponge acting as a landlord. The sponge makes a house. It rents the space of these tiny coral polyps, which sting prey and capture sunlight as energy for the sponge. I think the sponge used to be in charge, but eventually the coral polyps got so good at their job, the sponge stopped pumping water and just lived off the rent from the coral polyps. And to keep its tenants alive, it evolved a rocky shell, like Earth's sclero sponges. If I'm right, we should see other coral sponge pairs that have worked out differently, each still suited to a particular ecological niche. That's nicer. Mea culpa. Hey man, I'm all here for learning. Alright, the curtain Gruden. A soft predatory coral akin to Earth's Gorgonians, especially the Venus fan. I do like Venus fan. That's probably one of my favorite corals. They look sick. The sponge coral Moretti. Like Earth's brown tube sponges, soft corals on this world are a colony of coral polyps growing within a matrix of sponge tissue. In the specimen, it's very difficult to distinguish the sponge's jelly-like inner tissue, or mesophyll, from the soft carnassium, which connects the coral polyps, ribbons of tissue. The certain Gorgon forms a long, low I got too much alliteration for me, y'all. The coral Gorgon forms a long, low-lying fan of tissues, which catches prey. The curtain Gorgon is an obligate predator and cannot survive on sunlight. But some specimens are colonized by chemotrophic bacteria, which may provide the Gorgon with extra energy. It's got a plasticized skeleton. The Gorgon skeleton is chemically similar to PVC, which is an obsolete industrial plastic. Not today, it's not. It's made of a lot of things. But it does indicate the presence of plankton and other small sea life, which is kind of cool. Let's see, feather kelp, nothing for it. Mimic pylon, hey, this is the one I want to know about. Alright, so, tentatively, Pyloraptor mimic. Oh, it's an animal. Huh. That's cool. So, it's an animal disguised as a leafy kelp, discharges electrical shock when disturbed. Cephalopod-like body resembles an octopus or squid planted mantle down in the seabed with its arms spread to mimic kelp. Pouches of a symbiotic bacteria between its arms allow it to photosynthesize. A beak in the center of its arms is plugged with mucus. I have not. Actually, I probably have. But, you know. The things that get stored in my brain wasn't one of them. The forearms contain electrolytes, or electrocytes, organs which build up electrical charge. When disturbed by prey, the electrocytes discharge, causing paralysis or death. It is unclear if the prey are directly eaten or if they decompose in a garden around the mimic pylon. Organisms which feed on external decay, as known as surfatophs. Implied kelps. The pylon's cryptic, aggressive mimicry of the leafy kelp implies that kelp must exist on this world. Most species on Earth's oceans eat it to survive, while primary production carried out by plankton and algae. Leafy kelp were a late-state evolutionary development. Cave mouth strategy. Mimic pylons tend to cluster around the sea cave entrances, perhaps to feed on organisms entering or leaving the caves. Alternatively, they may have been planted there by other species to control access. Avoid contact, obviously, may mark cave entrances. Nah, jerkin'. Miracle. Hey, man. Again. I'm like, I can't argue. Alright, the weird brain. God, this thing looks so ugly. It's like the weirdest looking testicle that you could imagine. Like, ugh. Icky. Alright, so acid Raion. A colony of worms living in a shared membrane, possibly a sponge, uses weak acid to digest its prey. An organism defined as a sponge occupied by a colony of cloned predatory worms. The sponge is chambered, akin to Earth's instinctive sphenozoans. The chamber grows around a central pump. Okay, there was a short stint when I was working in an ER. Let me tell you, people do some weird stuff to their balls. Would not surprise you sometimes what they look like. Let's see. The Raion worms secrete a weak acid as a digestive factor and defensive mechanism. The acid is held under pressure by a plug in the Raion's central pump. To avoid unwanted acid release, cut away the chambers before disturbing the central pump. Okay, you may not. However, guys do some weird shit. People have inserted light bulbs up their rectums. Not a joke. Glass bottles. I fell on it in the shower. Okay, bunny. Take a seat. I'll get the nurse for you. Let's see. Volcanic origin. Oh, wait. No, I forgot to read the pressurized acid. The Raion's worms secrete a weak acid as a digestive factor. Acid's held under pressure in the plug in the Raion's central pump. To avoid unwanted acid release, cut away the chamber before disturbing the central pump. Got it. The acid Raion may have originally evolved near a cold seep or a volcanic caldera. Acid-friendly biochemistry gave it a useful defense mechanism and feed strategy to colonize other waters. Shower wine exists. You know, some people switch. Dude, Ohio is basically the North Florida, I'll be completely honest. But no, I was in Louisiana whenever I was doing that, which also, it's Louisiana. If you've ever been there, les bon temps relais, my friend. Let's see. Hiccups. The acid Raion may have originally evolved... No, I already read that. Medical jail. The Raion's central pump is partially plugged by a massive worm residue. This keeps the pressure of the chamber high. The residue contains useful clotting factors and broad-spectrum antibiotics. Recommends collection. Problematic genetics. Here we are. Spectrogenetic analysis indicates the host sponge and the resident worms contain partial copies of each other's genomes. This is a biological impossibility on Earth and suggests the genetic inheritance functions differently in this world. Assessment. Useful source for weak acid for battery. Central plug contains relevant gel. Cutaway chambers before moving plug. Consult NOAA to research optimum search areas. Let's see. Lucifer Rotsac. Alright, light-bringing Rotsac. A tunicate-like animal, which ferments decomposed biomatter inside its body. Hidden body. The Rotsac's larval swimming body transforms into a spherical adult form. Because fermentation does not require oxygen, the Rotsac actually stops breathing as it matures. Swollen with hydrocarbons. The Rotsac contains isoprene, useful for fabricating rubber and lubricant. High diacetyl... diacetyl? Oh, I'll go with that one. High diacetyl levels give the Rotsac a strong caramel funk. May grow to attract animals, especially sun-seeking microorganisms, to defecate or die on the Rotsac. Bioluminescence seems to play an important function in the world's ecology. Regular equipments with light reactions are advised. Symbiote often found glued to a Cradle Shootroot, an unrelated species of star-like bottom dweller that provides the Rotsac with an anchor while it grows. So that's kind of cool. I thought that was all one organism. So, and I thought this was like a seed for it, but it's actually a animal that lives inside of that plant. So I will have to... Oh, wait, no, I did take it. It's a starfish! Yay! That makes sense. Okay, I thought it was going to be a fern. Awesome. Okay, so Cradle Shootroot. A basket-shaped organism with no clear earthly analog. Anatomically similar to a plastic starfish or to an unopened variety of Earth's extinct blastoids. The flattened fibrous leaves are the arms of the animal loaded with photosynthetic symbiotes. The central structure houses a digestive system and a hard, sticky cradle. A second ring of arms grow into the seabed, seeking crevices on the rock. So it's preferred symbiote. The cradle is exchange site with a symbiotic partner, which is the Lucifer root. Spectrogenetic analysis suggests that Cradle Shootroot is younger than the Rotsac. It may have originally parasitized free-floating Lucifer root sacs before evolving a niche as an anchor, providing a refuge and minerals to the root sac in exchange for its share of its fermented food. Although it lacks the true cell wall of earth plants, the cradle root shoots strengthen its tissue with bioplastic fibers. Too tough to cut by hand, they could be severed by a cutting tool. Huh. Let's see. Where are we at? Tuncates. The oxygen tunicate. Alright, so a bizarre animal that spits seawater into hydrogen and oxygen. So it eats the hydrogen, releases the oxygen. Like earthly tunicates, there it is. Like earthly tunicates, it is a complex animal with a heart, nerve cord, and a flexible exterior shell. The tunicate. I keep wanting to say tunic, and I'm wondering if it is tunic instead of tunic. I think it's tunic. The tunic. Yeah, that sounds right. At the heart of the oxygen tunic is a nugget of radioactive material such as uranium, radium, or thorium. Radiation from the nugget spits water into the hydrogen and oxygen through radiolysis? Huh? The oxygen tunic retains the hydrogen to feed on an internal colony of sulfur-reducing bacteria and releases the excess oxygen. Cherenkov radiation from the core excites radioluminescent pigments in the tunicate. Tunic. There it is. Tunic, producing a distinctive blue glow. This may be a warning to would-be predators that the oxygen tunic releases poisonous qualities of oxygen. The oxygen tunic's metabolism suggests that the world has an energetic geology and a biosphere adapted to use radiation as a food source. It also has an interesting implication that life without sunlight on Earth, even deep sea vents, depend on oxygen produced by photosynthesis. No such dependency exists here. Energy emergency oxygen sources for divers. Be aware that could lead to radon buildup, which has serious health risks, including cancer. Goodie. All right, the Welcome Center, found that. Colossus Node, I found that. Resource, metal salvage, debris. Okay, easy enough. The tools. Oh my lord, they went into detail about this stuff. Oof. All right, AEP suit. Alright, step into the AEP leg suits. Wiggle hips while drawing suit up to shoulder, then insert hands into arms. PDA will automatically reconfigure suit sensors and catheters. Ooh. That's just kind of, not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping we just peed in the suit. Alright, Valterra equipment suit, second skin to pioneers, populated with the latest Trans-System Federation nanotechnology to guard against bacteria and fungal threats. Bonds with the user's body and implemented PDA to monitor vital signs, hydrogen, and calorie budget. Intuitive neural heads-up display. Gel layer protects against soft radiation and temperatures. Full-service skincare include rash suppression, pinch clearance, and sore lavage. Lotion sold separately. Scavenges dissolved gases from the pioneer's blood to prevent bariotrauma, the bends. Compresses body into ideal movement postures, some risk to user's modesty, and traps air to maintain neutral buoyancy. Suit surface can express microtexture to reduce drag. Constant electrical and optical feedback optimizes biorhythms and helps maintain healthy emergencies, or helps manage health emergencies. The latest and most radical suit includes a suction pump on the wrist, which mates with an implant shunt in the Pioneer's body to sample alien tissues. Please consult your onboard waiver for the R key for technical details on adapting your body to the alien worlds. All environmental protection, the only starship you can wear. Removed a get thicker skin slogan after legal challenges regarding implied emotional control. The AEP suit does not offer mental health services or workplace counseling. See, PDA, attending a PDA voice or invoke, screen reading as you read, check all PDA tabs to ensure you understand their function. PDA's cybernetic augment to the customer's conscience as tracks and sorts the user's vital signs, possessions, information, and fabricated blueprints. PDA holds the sum total of human knowledge in a compressed Quartz archive. It synthesizes this knowledge with scans you can gather to generate databanks of unknown species and phenomena. The databank entries can be the difference between life and death for you or your entire colony. Remember the acronyms: ABC, always be checkin', and BLR, be like Riley. If you're confused or lost, review your PDA. Remember that Riley Robinson's PDA and scanner brought him home safely in the face of unforeseen catastrophes. If a non-essential system maintenance chief can trust his PDA that completely, so can you. Alright, so our first character was a janitor, basically, from the first game. Nice to know. Although the acronym PDA predates back to pre-expansion Earth, historians generally agree that these devices are not true to PDAs. They lacked a personality, and they were not a active agentic assistant. True PDAs became popular in the mid-21st century as a solution to the problems of information overload, both in... So, back to the banks. Scroll. Alright, PDAs, true PDAs, blah, 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 blah. PDAs are designed to guide the user's attention to the clearest, most pressing information of their environment. Civilian PDAs generally operate from discrete form factors such as handheld units. Military and pioneer PDAs are printed directly onto the user's body. Although these integrated PDAs are more responsive and powerful, they come with various risks associated with direct nervous system contact, including the possibility that the PDA will register the user's delirium or hallucinations as real phenomena. So your end user's license about PDA psychosis. It's alarming and inaccurate. Huh. Strong psychological attachment to a particular PDA personality are normal expected. Speak to a therapist or Alteran companion if these attachments begin to interfere with your work and life. So it's saying, hey, you don't like the new voice? Too bad. Deal with it. Remember the PDA... Remember that emotional involvement with the machine designated to learn your preference is a form of narcissism. While narcissism can be a successful business model, it can also lead to many negative outcomes. PDAs save lives, whether catching errors in surgical checklists, flagging oversights in spacecraft maintenance, or simply remembering which ingredients you've already added to your child's special homemade birthday cake. PDAs are the frontline soldiers in the struggle to optimize humanity's intelligence and performance to match the voracious threats of deep space. Let's see, basic med kit, satchel, blah 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 blah, black meds. Med kit may aggravate long-term injuries in order to achieve short-term performance. Health is equity, and modern medicine gives you the confidence to leverage that equity in the pursuit of success. Okay, so let's see. Cutting tools get triggered in our PDA in our HUD to let us know that we need to use them. Scaled down version from the combat tested SR3 Striker Switch Axe, which the frontiersmen used to hack apart Kara infestation. The frontiersmen learned that even hardened combat knives quickly lose their edge when wasting on sawing, prying, and percussive maintenance. Axes and hammers are more effective for breaking up resource deposits, and fine cut work like gutting or fiber splicing can be left to fabricators. Altera applied these findings to produce an all-titanium survival multi-tool, which features a longer lever arm and a solid hammer pry claw from hand mining. A sharp reverse edge maintains the knife's utility in cutting and self-defense, though this remains strictly a last resort. Despite protests from seasoned pioneers such as celebrity survivor Raul Isotolo, Altera has replaced the standard knife with the multi-tool in the Cicada's basic fabricator offerings. Though all fabricators are capable of producing firearms such as the Plus nose guns, these weapons are only licensed for specially trained such as the frontiersmen and other hands of untrained colonists. Evidence indicates that firearms are more likely to be discharged against other colonists or the self. Ugh. Scanner. Let's see, Riley Robinson used it to go. Let's see, hyperspectral imager, integrated techniques from resonance and enhanced Raman spectrography to spiff moon topography. The PDA that then generates the best fit theory from the corpus of past data. When generating names and databank entries, the PDA considers, but does not always respect, the user's cultural background, educational accomplishments, and personal preference. Scan fragments of technology to add their blueprints to your PDA. Multiple fragments are sometimes needed. Novel specimens are assigned to easy-to-remember name and a databank entry populated with best guess behavior, anatomy, niche, reproduction, and evolution. Remember that these information is provisional. Altera cannot be held liable for errors or mistakes caused by a mismatch when AI induction and real outcomes. The user may run a self-scan to determine their own physical well-being, but this function is usually redundant with implemented PDA and Biobed scans. Data gathered from the scanner can also be delivered for a higher-order artificial intelligence, such as NOAA, to generate advanced theory. The Altera Hyperspectral Scanner. It's all you need to know. Intellectual property generated by the use of it, including physical, biological theory, genetics, blah, 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 is default assigned to the user's employer in perpetuity terms. So we don't own anything we find. Cool. Alright, habitat builder. Alright, story guide. Collect titanium, quartz, copper. Build. Add solar. Build. Makes sense. Colonists, emergency crews across 15 different trans governments in more than 75 years have used it. Instead of prefab compartments, the Cicada's habitat builders feature the new spectral scope setter. Basic rooms and corridors can be expanded in 4 directions using the glow shrink command, allowing the basic work shed to grow into multi-story habitat for entire crew. Assembles raw material and fabricated components into sealed habitats. Automatically generates oxygen from seawater when powered. Uses the standard elements tab to grow shrink rooms and corridors. Well, that's cool. Supports vital mission systems like a processor, biobed, or scanner station. Primary systems like oxygen generation and fabrication require power, and power is generated by generators like solar panels and stored and backup storage units in case of generator failure. The Habitat Builder version 7.5 SCS, turn a colony into a home. Isn't that nice? Okay, we read everything, and I'm sure we'll have tons more eventually. I love this. This is good.